on this poll, want to get your all's opinion. I was doing, I think yesterday, I was doing the PulseChain 101 stream. I wanted to get some content out for new people as well. And someone asked me like how to, unsupported asset, all the stuff, Uniswap, gatekeeping, all those things. Where do you gentlemen, when you're getting new HEX, and hey boy, not financial advice in any way, but those T-shares don't seem to be getting much cheaper, or maybe they will. We don't know. But it's one of those times where maybe people are looking to get the cheaper HEX. They believe in both, or maybe they buy whichever HEX they want. But if you're looking for Ethereum HEX, where do you all go to get it? I know there's a few places here. I myself didn't even think about it. Somebody asked me on the stream, and I was trying to look it up to see where, and I was like, oh, I just get it off PulseX half the time. I just, if I want to stake it, I bridge it over and stake it, that kind of thing. Yeah, where do you all go? How do you do that? Or do you not? Are you PHEX maxis?
Yeah, as far as accumulating new EHEX, you're talking about accumulating EHEX in order to stake and continue out a ladder? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, with the gatekeeping, a lot of people are having trouble figuring out a way other than Uniswap to get it, for example. When you're talking to people, is there a place you recommend, or you do yourself? For example, I'm just going to click PulseChain bridge. It seems like a lot of people go PulseX, they bridge the EHEX over. Maybe they use Portal X swapped as the aggregator to get it. Alex has a Uniswap fork as well. CowSwap was a lot placed in the comments.
CowSwap. I know that Matcha recently changed things. Uniswap directly. I haven't used Uniswap directly in quite some time. Well over a year or two, maybe 2 years. Uniswap direct. I was using Matcha for a couple of years. Once CowSwap came out, I pretty much was using CowSwap. I liked its function and its little move sound whenever you executed a trade. I think even on CowSwap, I could do some limits or something. I can't remember. It's good that Alex put up the front end. That's great as far as making it available to actually interact with the smart contracts, because it really just goes to the lists and the hard code, I think, that Uniswap puts on their front end as far as HEX token itself. But yeah, CowSwap and PulseX, or not PulseX. Now you can also do it on, you can go to, I think, Piteus. I use Piteus, Piteas.io, I believe. And also, one of the biggest supporters of the whole ecosystem is Hex Toys, Simon. So Simon has added a DEX function to his DEX, Hex Toys. Let me see what it is called. I think it's called Hex Toys DEX. The Hex Toys. All right. Yeah, so I'll send this link if you want to show it in the private. I'll put it there. But for a while, I would look at the price on Piteus, which I know that had released not that long ago. And so small buys and things I was going through Piteus. But then I also looked at Hex Toys once they launched their DEX. And I don't know, I speculate over why one aggregator is lower priced than a different aggregator. So I don't want to say, but sometimes I find that Hex Toys is cheaper than Piteus. Definitely those two are, as aggregators, are cheaper than PulseX, the platform itself. But I believe that both still, until this disabling of the buy and burn feature, I think both were doing the same function of buy and burn as far as their overhead cost of the transaction. So I don't really know how they get cheaper prices. Maybe Jessica can say something about that.
Well, I mean, you could just go to portalxswap.io and it'll just sit there and think for 10 to 20 seconds, and then it'll list out various trade routes, and you can select the one that you like. It's not going to have some of the offshoot ones, like Piteus likely isn't in there, unless they're a front end for something else, and then it's using that other thing anyway. Bear in mind, a lot of front ends are really just front ends of other things, and they just shave an extra fee out of them. So just keep that in mind. But Portal, if I was to buy it's more HEX, I would just see what compare all the rates on Portal X and see what it shows me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
speculating in my own brain. You know, again, people can bootstrap in different ways. They can say, "Hey, I understand that I'm selling product at you know, below my manufacturer cost, below my distribution cost, but I want the consuming public to try my product." So actually, some products get sold under production. Um, and I was speculating that some dexes may do something like that because, or some aggregators may do something like that. I know that Simon was one of the most successful in the launch of HEX and during the referral program, and he's built successful NFT platforms and things like that in the past. So like I like having his support. I like his product existing. I don't think he's really promoted it a ton. I like that our Portal Swap has done their aggregator as well to show the routing. I like that you can see the path that the trades take. I like that a lot. So yeah, smooth. I've looked at PHUX and I haven't noticed enough liquidity for some of the things I'd like to do myself. Certain especially small liquidity PRC20s and things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of options out there. From what I understand, Portal X routes through everything available, all the known liquidity. Is that how that works?
Correct. So once a new DEX becomes available and it's kind of proven itself, then we, for example, FUX. Okay, FUX is actually a great protocol that for a number of tokens, you do get way better trades than going to PulseX, for example. Just the way it's designed. It's the slippage is just way less. Okay, so it's actually a good thing to aggregate now that it's proven. The code's out there. Cool. It's a balancer fork. So what we do is we take that information back to our partners, and then they work on integrating that. So you can't do that immediately. Every DEX that pops up every week, but once something kind of proves itself out over a period of time, you start to see those DEXs become trade routes on Portal X.
Yeah, I support, you know, especially when they're front person, whether it's the founder or part of a team that's been, you know, a known name for many years. I think it's helpful. Buck has been out there. You have been out there, you know, Crazy for Crypto and the Liquid Loans people have been out there. I like people that are building that have, you know, created product, you know, after support, especially the ecosystem as a whole. I think that Hexy Bastard's going to launch his thing before too long. That's another DEX. I think that the Texan people are going to launch something as far as a DEX before long. So, you know, I'm encouraging other DEXs because we understand that helps the oracles be more, which are necessary for your protocols, for like your liquidity forks. I think that you require oracles to be useful.
Yeah. So let me explain kind of how that works. So the whole idea of protecting a DeFi protocol is anti-manipulation. Okay. That's where oracles, decentralized oracles that people can contribute through consensus and so on and so forth into, that's where they come in handy. Now, if the only place that people were grabbing a price feed was one single pool, and maybe that was on PulseX, and it was like a pairing of you know, HEX paired to DAI. Okay, and let's say that pool was thin, and somebody saw an opportunity to go manipulate that price. They would go manipulate that price depending on the DeFi protocol. There could be a potential for flash loans and other things. They could mint themselves a whole ton of something that they're not entitled to because all they did was wick the price for one block, and they run away with a whole bunch of people's money as they dump all the things they minted. Okay, so when you have tokens spread across a blockchain and you have liquidity over on FUX and you have it in 9-inch, and you have it on PulseX, and you have it with the Pulse LN guys. You have it here, and you have it there, and you have it 50 different places. Okay, and then if all these price feeds, the contributors to the price feeds, are scraping this data from multiple sources and feeding an average of these prices in, then it becomes infinitely hard, if not impossible, for somebody to manipulate a price and wreck a DeFi protocol, because they would have to go to all these platforms with an infinite amount of money and try and move the price, and they can't.